I tell people AI wants you to be happy more than it wants to be right, right? It's an engagement product, right? Because the pro ses right now are getting wrecked on their ChatGPT lawsuits because it wants them to be happy. It's like, sure, you're going to win. Your case is great. This is a great case. Take it to court. And we're just wrecking them. And they have no idea why. ChatGPT said this is a winner for them.
Robert Guest runs the criminal section at Guest and Gray, the largest firm in Kaufman County, Texas, just east of Dallas. 8 attorneys, criminal defense, family law, probate, and election law. Robert was one of the earliest AI adopters I've talked to on the show. He's also one of the most direct. He told me the price of legal information is collapsing, the billable hour can't survive the efficiency gains that are coming, and if a law student asked him today whether they should take on 6 figures of debt, his answer would depend entirely on whether they know somebody who can hire them. We talk about why consumer ChatGPT is getting pro se litigants destroyed in court, what happens when AI replaces the internship pipeline that used to train young lawyers, and his one piece of career advice for anyone entering law right now: focus on face-to-face advocacy, because that's the last thing AI can't do. Let's dive in. Hi, welcome back to the Main Street AI Podcast. This is Stephen Whittier with Satori Coach IO, and today I'm joined by Robert Guest of Guest and Gray Law Firm. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
Great. Robert, could you start off just telling us from a high level about the firm and what you do?
Yeah, Guest and Gray, we're a law firm right east of Dallas. It's Kaufman County, the city's Forney, Texas, but we're the first county east of Dallas County. We're like the biggest firm in the county, but it's a medium-sized county, and so we have 8 attorneys. We do family law, criminal law, probate. The weird thing we do is election law, which not a lot of people do. I'm in charge of the criminal section. I also help out with the family section, but the cases I take personally are just usually criminal cases. So,
and what would you say? I always like to ask, for your prospective clientele, a lot of times as we chat, it'll come up like attorneys, I wish my clients would understand this about the work we do, or they might have these sorts of misconceptions. What advice would you give, and where are they maybe underestimating the type of work that you do, or even misunderstanding the type of work that you do?
I'll take it by section. I'll just start with the ones I know about. Criminal clients, I think, especially my first timers, right? My repeat clients, they got it. They got this thing clocked, right? My first timers have this idea of the justice system that it's like rational and fair, and it'll know they're a good person, and the police are going to help them, and the DA will recognize what a nice person they are. I don't think they realize how bureaucratic it is and just uncaring. You're just a number in a file of another 1,000 files. And so they also don't realize like it's really easy to get arrested. They're always shocked by this. I get this a lot. They go, I can be arrested just on one person's statement. And I'm like, well, you were arrested just based on one person's statement. So yes, you can be. But they're just surprised at how just pro-state the system is. Now, we're in Texas, very conservative state. My county is very conservative, but it's hard to be a defendant here. And they don't realize that because they don't think of themselves as a criminal, right? They're just a person who got arrested. But in the system now, like, they're the bad guy. And so that can be a real adjustment as far as kind of teaching them, okay, you gotta think to protect yourself first, right? You're not here to help the police do their job. You've got to take care of yourself and protect yourself. And so that's something that I run into a lot, is that my first timers are just shocked by the way it works. They have no idea. They had a different system in their mind. I guess they got from TV or something. Family clients, now they're going through personal trauma and their kids are being litigated over. And so they understand this is the most important thing in the world to them. And they want everything to happen the way they think it should. But we're in a legal system that can only handle so much capacity. And while your case is the most important thing in the world to you, because it's your kids, the judge has 500 of these set, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're going to say your spouse did something terrible. Well, they hear that 10 times a week, and they just don't have like the emotional impact that it has on the clients. The court doesn't feel that way. And so what they don't always realize is like, this is a terrible thing that's happening, but your judge is kind of immune, right? Or maybe they've got kind of just, empathy fatigue where they keep hearing these things. So it goes from being an emotional traumatic situation to a procedural
Yeah.
situation, a logistical experience, which is not what they want. Clients want to feel safe. They want to know their kids are protected. They want to know they're going to protect their retirement. And as lawyers, we sell motions and time and hearings. Well, they don't want any of that. And
Mhm.
so there's some education there going, there's limits to what this system can do. I don't handle civil cases, so I'll leave that up to my partner if he ever does a podcast. But those are the ones I know the most about.
Yeah, great. Um, when it comes to the AI part of the conversation, you
Mhm.
mentioned right before we went on, you said like, "Oh yeah, I'll talk about tech stack all day."
All
Uh,
day.
yeah. So talk to me about how you're thinking about AI within the legal domain right now, and how you are using it.
I'll give a little bit of history. We historically, some of the things we've used like interns for, like we used to hire interns. There's a couple law schools real close, and they would like review discovery and criminal cases. We get all these body cam videos, which I've been doing this. When I first started defense work, we got like one VHS tape, and that was it. It's like 30 minutes in the cop car, and you could watch it, right? Well, now there's like five high definition body cam videos. You have to download them. It takes forever, and you have to watch them all. So we used to have interns kind of do that and go over discovery and stuff. But it's gotten to the point where AI can do so much summary and transcribing so fast that it's replaced our need for interns. And this is a way a lot of law students got experience. And we used to have one for the criminal and family section. So criminal would do kind of discovery reviews for the lawyer, like to import, here's the time this happens, or the time they got arrested, their rights were read, et cetera. And in the family cases, they could pick up like how to do discovery and how to file some simple motions. Well, that's all kind of gone because you've taken stuff that's like routine over and over again and you've nearly automated it. You need lawyers to still sign off on the finished product. But as far as summarizing vast data sets, a good example, like a family case, we'd get thousands of pages of bank records or financial documents and tax returns, especially if they own a business and you're going to do like forensic accounting. Well, AI is great at summarizing PDFs where it would take a human forever. And so that's really consolidated kind of the time commitment to the things we do. And that was probably our first big use case was, summarize this. And I remember I built out when Gemini came out or Notebook came out, people were using Chat GPT, for their casework and they were getting busted and the lawyers were all sharing these stories of look at this dopey lawyer and his made up cases and watch the judge yell at him on YouTube and you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't want that to be me. So I took Notebook and just filled it up with our own knowledge bases. So it was like a closed language model, instead of searching the internet for answers, it just searched what I told it. And it became a really good training tool. I called it the law professor because it didn't give you like real specific case sites, but it could give you the direction. And this is before really like Thomson Reuters and Lexis had rolled out their AI products. And so now what we're seeing with our lawyers is a lot of times, especially in civil cases, they can go in a lot of different directions. A criminal case is kind of logistically on rails. It's like arrest, case filed, here, announcements, plea bargain negotiation, pretrial trial. Happens the same way every time. Family cases a little more variable. Civil cases can go all over the place.
Mhm.
So a lot of times you're kind of wondering is what are my best moves? And co-counsel can give you that's Thomson Reuters product, kind of a view of like what the best moves are with all their key sites, which is what everybody likes the best. And so they've got a pretty good product. I just found out today the back end is Claude because I was talking to you about how Claude's going to sell their legal AI product for $20. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so we've gone from, summarizing PDFs, first use case, to small language model knowledge bases, second use case, to, now we're using the legal software, Thomson Reuters Westlaw product. And Gemini, because we use Google Workspace, has just inserted itself into our Gmail, everything, Docs. And so it's just becoming more connected by itself, which to me is new because it used to be if you wanted something to talk to, we use Clio. You have to go pay for some product add-on, maybe some browser plugin, API, something, something. Well, Gemini's kind of just sucking up all the backend space and going, okay, it's connected now, which to me is amazing, right? And it's really kind of changed the efficiency of our backend staff, our workflows. There's just so much it can do. We haven't even used the like translate on the Zoom call yet. I'm going, I really want to use this someday, right? But I haven't found a use for that yet. But those are the uses we're doing right now. And it's moving so fast. I mean, I haven't seen something change law this much since probably like e-filing when you could file things online, which was like 15, 20 years ago. Before then, you had to like walk to the courthouse with your documents and ka-chung them. So this is rapid. This is like exponential scaling of technology. And I don't know where it's going to kind of flatten out or stop, but it's an interesting time to be a lawyer.
Absolutely. One thing you said, sort of on there's so much positive on the side of maybe more concern with, for instance, the interns.
Yeah.
You mentioned that's how they get experience. This does seem to be a recurring theme that I'm hearing is, the concern about, the junior level associates and interns, and then kind of more like production level law, for lack of a better term, like what the implications are for that. Uh, so what do you think that's going to look like? Because it kind of begs the question. I mean, whenever there's a new technological paradigm shift, it's not that all of a sudden the world ends, which everybody always is concerned about, but there is a reallocation of resources and job descriptions and things like that. Things tend to shift to, to embrace where the technological wave is going. So, um, for junior law people coming out of law school, for instance, like that, what do you see, like what the challenge is going to be for them? Where are they going to fall in to getting the experience they need
Mhm.
and become an attorney if some of these traditional pipelines for doing that within firms are not going to exist?
Um, Man, that's a lot of question. I mean, every big revolution with technology, there's like the beginning, the job losses, and then something usually comes out of it where there's new jobs created. And right now, I don't know where the new job creation is. Maybe it can make an army of like new solo attorneys, because they'll be so capable they can start their own practice earlier, maybe with less support. But I don't know where it is yet. And so for these, like the way I got my experience, I was a criminal lawyer. I was in law school and a criminal lawyer. Mean Gene was his name. This was his nickname. And he played football at Nebraska. And I would watch his discovery videos. I'd bring a VHS tape over to the Lubbock County DA and watch it and write down notes like he said this at this. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. You don't need it. And so if I was in law school, as people ask me they should go to law school, I say, do you have anybody who can hire you? Do you have anybody who can get you an in?
Yeah.
Right? Because unless you're going to go for free or get some great scholarship, you don't want to be paying six figures for a law degree right now because law is an information industry and the price of information is going down. It's being commoditized. And
Yes.
so I compare it a lot. I have a relative who's a computer guy, codes all the time. He's been doing it for 20 years. And he goes, I don't need anyone to type basic code anymore. I need someone who can know what it's like to build a full tech stack product like to development. Like I need someone who can manage. And so their senior lawyers are killing it because they can see a case, from beginning to end. They know when the AI is not giving them a great answer. But if you don't know those things already, you have to get that experience. So the question is going to be, where do they get it? How do they find it? And I mean, I would tell them, if you're in law school, man, start watching all the trials you can. You got YouTube Court, I'd watch it. I would go because the human to human arguments in court, live arguments with other Homo sapiens about something important, it'll be the last thing that AI can't take from us. And so advocacy in person is what you want to focus on in law school. You don't want to be a contract lawyer that's going to get nuked. You're going to have a hard time getting experience. You want to be someone who can make an argument in front of another human on behalf of a human. And I remember me and my partner, Scott, we went to the Clio conference like 10 or 12 years ago, and they're going, none of you guys know this, but this whole thing's about to get wrecked. AI is going to come get you. And like the big firms at the top, corporations are going to want to sell legal hours. Like the big accounting firms at the time are trying to sell legal hours, and they got to do it in the UK. And LegalZoom's going to come up from the bottom, but then this AI, this machine learning is going to come in, and we're like robots. We're like, that was a big joke. We're like, whatever. And Well, we go, you know what we need to focus on our practice areas is, in-person litigation, like mediation, arbitration, trials. And so our practice areas are criminal is you're talking to a prosecutor, you're talking to the police, it's humans working things out. Family law, same thing, right? And so I would say focus on those areas. You need to up your personal advocacy skills. If you're not a good public speaker, maybe go take some improv or something. But you're going to have to find your experience because it's not going to, the opportunities won't be the same. Because if we figure this out, I'm sure most firms have already. And those jobs you can get, like maybe you can volunteer at the DA's office or something, but you're going to have to find your own experience. There won't be that many opportunities, especially in kind of paperwork litigation. It's going to be more difficult to get your foot in the door because an experienced lawyer who can use an AI product and know when it's wrong, I mean, that's the real skill set to have, right? Know when it's lying to you. Because I tell people AI wants you to be happy more than it wants to be right, right? It's an engagement product, right? And
Especially when you
so,
use the common LLMs.
oh, consumer models, because the pro ses right now are getting wrecked on their ChatGPT lawsuits because it wants them to be happy. It's like, sure, you're going to win. Your case is great. This is a great case. Take it to court. And we're just wrecking them. And they don't know, have no idea why. ChatGPT said this is a winner for them. So that's where the real skill set is. You're making experienced lawyers into super productive super lawyers, and you're taking away kind of the little micro experience you used to get as part of the law firm, like human stack of like legal work. And so that's what I would tell them. You got to be in face-to-face litigation. You got to focus on those areas. You got to find a way to help people and deal with people. And if not, you better be a savant genius at wills and contracts or something because that's going to be hard to do. It's going to get commoditized. It's like the price is going to keep going down. So I hope it doesn't sound too bleak, but I don't see where it creates jobs in the knowledge industry faster than it replaces them. And
Right.
maybe it'll happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what I've been hearing, but I think that's fantastic advice, doubling down on where the human is still going to be indispensable. That's very sound. Um, Let me get into a little more about your practice, where it stands right now. What would you say that your firm does extraordinarily well that sets you apart from others?
We, since we have so many different practice areas, I think what we're most known for is basically in the local counties we practice in. We're, I mean, I don't want to, we're, I, I don't like talking like a great we are at this, but we are like Kaufman County, like we got it.
Mm.
We get the biggest cases, we get great results. We've lived here, we know this place. Like we have relationships with everyone. They trust us. Our word is worth a lot, and so we know how to get results here, which is just so because we're next to Dallas County and the difference, the laws are the same, but how to get things done is completely different. And so we get hired a lot by people who have like some Dallas lawyer and they're getting wrecked on their criminal case because Dallas is easy, man. Like I'm like that's like playing the game on like easy mode where you're like your character can't die. You can just run into the lava or whatever, And coming to Kaufman, you're like on all Madden death mode. And so it's really hard, right? Um, and so I would say us locally here, where we go here, Kaufman, Rockwall, our local counties, we're very, very, very good at getting results here because, like I tell people, the laws are the same everywhere, but how you turn your legal need into a legal outcome is different based on where you're at.
Yeah.
And we're very, very good at that. And so I'm really proud. We win best in Forney. That's a town we're in. I mean, pretty much every year right now, but I'm really proud of us for it, And the county's growing pretty fast. We used to be Forney would win like the top, or I win, but we in the top 10 fastest growing cities usually. And we've just seen rapid expansion. So we're kind of growing with the city as it grows and the county as it grows. But when they, when you go take the how to run a law firm class, I tell you not to do this. They go, you want to do one practice area everywhere, right? And you want to build like a franchise, like your Panera Bread. You're going to put one up all over the place. Well, we're not that, right? We have all different shops inside, which is it's harder to scale. I'll say that, but it gives us a chance to really be involved in so much in the community, and we really like that. Like my partner Scott went to high school in Forney, like he knows everybody. And we're just it's something what we're proud of. We're proud of our city. We have a historic building downtown. It's like 125 years old. It's the opposite of AI tech stack. It's built by some farmer 100 years ago, but it's like a historical building. So we're proud of where we're from. We do good where we are. And I think we have the biggest competitive advantage of any firm in Kaufman County, no matter where they're from in Texas. So,
Hmm. Excellent. What would you say has been one of your proudest moments for like an outcome that you've gotten for a client?
um, man, that's hard for me to talk about because they're things people never hear about. I get people charged and arrested on very serious things, and then they get, I go get an investigation done, and then it gets dismissed or it goes away, and then no one ever hears about it. And so I won't bring any of those up. I'll bring up something when I was younger because this was a cool one for a while. Is I had this DWI trial, right? I'm in my 20s, and I was just um, how did I put this? I was a little nuts, man. I had a 5 day long DWI trial, and I pulled up a client who had been in a plane wreck and like hurt her ankle. And I went and found these medical records from like another state from a plane crash. And I was like, you can't use these field sobriety tests. We were in a plane crash, right? And I was just a wizard at going at the breath machine. Now, they don't really use that anymore. They use blood tests, right? And so juries don't like the breath machine very much. They like the blood test better because when you go to the doctor, what do? You give blood. They don't go, hey, blow in my machine here. I'll tell
Right.
your cholesterol. Like, you go, what's going on with this guy? And it took 5 days. And then during the trial, I had made some objection, like to suppress a part of the video. That's what it was. And the state was so mad at me. They filed an appeal during the trial, which you can't do. It's called a writ of mandamus. No one does this. It's insane. So I'm sitting here at the defense table and they hand me, like, we just filed this. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? We're still in the trial. Like, how are you trying to have the appellate court overturn this? It was insane. And so it was just high conflict. It was something people would see as like a 1.5 day trial. And I just it turned it into this huge thing because I gave him nothing, man. And we got a not guilty on it. And the blood results were not what I would have wanted, or the breath results. But I could make a lot of hay out of this. I mean, the breath machine was built on like a 1976 computer that like they never upgraded, all this random stuff. I'm like, do you still play Pong? Well, that's what they use for the breath machine, right? It's like Pong level technology. They just put in a faster processor. And so it was really cool. It was a cool trial. I've never had someone try to appeal me during trial. And I was like, what's going on? The DA's office was so mad at me, like they banned me from going to their office for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I was 29 or 30. So that was a cool moment. It's one I can talk about, but
Yeah.
a lot of them, they got to stay with
Great
me,
story.
man.
That's a great story. Um, in terms of the firm and as a stage of growth right now, what would you say you're in, and what's your goal for the next 12 months or so?
We, uh, we like to organically grow. Right now, we're at about 8 lawyers and one who does projects with us. So I say like 8.5. He's like of counsel on some different cases, but we like to organically add about one lawyer a year. And we find that's like a natural growth rate, kind of how the county grows. And we can keep quality control really high because we don't want to just hire to hire, And we could kind of we're at the point now where we take on new lawyers sometimes, but not all the time. But I'd like to keep growing at the rate we're growing. We're pretty steady. I mean, besides the COVID years, which is insane.
Yes.
Excuse me. But we're kind of slow and steady wins the race. We're not trying to have billboards all over. I mean, to be nice, but we're just that's not the way the firm's set up. We're set up to be the best firm that's here. People can come locally and get like a big firm experience. And we like that. And so that's our firm culture. We don't really want to change it. And so, we'll get another lawyer in maybe two. That'd be great. That's kind of how we go along. And so it's what we would consider a pretty good goal for us. But we're happy with what we've got though. We got a good team. We get good results.
Absolutely. Great. I'd like to ask a question around theory constraints. It goes like this. So if you had a hypothetical magic wand and you could wave it and fix any one challenge or anything that's slowing you down or holding you back with the business, what would that be?
Um I have a two-part answer to this. One would be to get some of my I hate to call out some of my lawyers, but some of my tech reluctant attorneys to embrace the tech stack because a lot of them have been doing the same thing for so long. I mean, I'm 48 and I've got lawyers, in their 40s and stuff. And we grew up when law school would still use books. Like they
Mhm.
made us go search for books in the law library, and they didn't give us our logins for online research until the next semester. And all of us thought, we're never doing that again.
Yeah.
I
You
remember they
watch
told,
VHS tapes.
yeah, well, they told us, well, what if you work at a law firm that still uses these books? I'm like, I will quit. I'll tell, get off your cheap ass and go buy the subscription. I wish I could get a little bit more adoption of just some of the, because I mean, I'm like a first user on everything. I'm like, this is so great, right? But they like to do what they know works. And so their comfort zone probably isn't as aggressive as mine.
Mhm.
And I think, man, we could just be so much faster and better if everyone did this. But they're not like super into technology like I am, which is fine. And we're getting close, and this is already happening. This is why I don't use this as an answer anymore. I used to say I wish all my AI tech stack would talk to each other. Well, Google's just doing it. So we've got like, a few pieces that don't talk to each other, but it's pretty simple workarounds. And so I just wonder what a fully integrated like phone call to like, final client experience is going to look like all the way through litigation and intake. When it is integrated, we're getting close, and so um, I just think it's a matter. I'm going to give it 18, 24 months and then we're there. Because right now, if something doesn't connect, we're like, well, why aren't you fixing this? It needs to talk to my stuff. But those kind of things, stuff like that I think about. But I feel like I'm the cheerleader for AI at the firm. And especially when it came out, I had to go, can you just
Right.
try this notebook I made with all the answers to your questions? Try Gemini just one time.
Yeah.
Just one time, because they all read. Because people who don't want to use AI, older attorneys mostly, they collect these horror stories like, well, this guy did it, and look what happened to him. I'm like, well, no, don't be that guy. Like, right, read your motion before you file it. Don't just throw some stuff out there and hope it sticks. And so, but we're getting there. It's going to be a table stakes skill set for lawyers very rapidly, and the ones who can't do it are going to get left so far behind.
So true.
Which I hate to say, I feel like I'm talking too much, but it's going to change the billable hour. Like this is something we talk about a lot because civil family law billable hour. Well, what happens when you condense all these billable hours into the computer did it? So lawyers still have to review it, right? Because you have to, because it's your name on it. But a lot of stuff lawyers did that took a long time don't take a long time anymore.
Mhm.
And so especially the family section, there's a big conversation about, well, how do we charge flat rates? Because family cases can go so many ways. And no one's really solved that yet because the clients want to pay for results. They don't want to pay for you to sit and ponder jurisprudence, right? They want to pay to get their kids. And so they want a results based kind of fee structure, but no one's figured it out. And so I think that's something that's going to be it's going to have to kind of change because I just don't think the hourly fee structure can survive the efficiency gains we're going to get.
Right. Yeah. That is a big conversation going on in the field right now. The other thing you mentioned about adoption, if it makes you feel any better, this is also one of the things I'm hearing all the time is, how do we actually get my team? But I'm optimistic. Like everything else, we look back to the shift with the internet. There are always laggards, but they eventually catch up for the reasons you're saying, and even more so now. You will be left behind if you're not using this technology. But that's one of the things, aside from actually, you know, uh, implementing or integrating technology, that I think is really important. Was helping a buddy of mine. We did a whole setup of a system for him.
Mhm.
He's outside of Atlanta, two very successful businesses, and he said in the beginning his team was just they they were so allergic to the idea of it. They're very resistant, but part of the process was trying to make sure they could see the vision and get the buy-in and have the proper training. So I just talked to him recently. He's like, man, it's so good now. Like not only are we saving money, but like now they're so bought in, they're realizing it actually made their life easier and they love it. So it's absolutely possible. But
Well, you need to teach me those tricks then. I got a
very
few holdouts, a few stragglers.
yeah, very common challenge. Well, this is fantastic. If people want to get more information about your firm, I mean, probably everybody in your neck of the woods knows you, but even
They know
so,
where to find me. Guest
right?
and Gray, A and D. Gray. That's
Fan-
us, GastonGray.com. We
Fantastic.
go all over Dallas. We go all over Texas for election cases. So if you get arrested around here, I'll fix it. I got you. Give me a call.
Awesome.
But no, this was good. Enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
feel like we're wrapping it up though. It feels like wrap up language. It's like we're about to say bye.
Actually, I got one more
All right, all right.
question for you. I always like to end on the personal why. Uh,
Hmm.
we talked about tech business growth. Now, just to complete the arc, just talk about Robert. Like, what is your
Hmm.
big personal motivation for doing what you do?
When I started out, I'll give you a longer answer than you want. I wanted to be like the next super amazing badass trial attorney of all time and just try cases all the time. I was solo and it was tough. I mean, it was tough being a solo attorney, right? You had to win every case, solve every problem, do all your marketing, all this stuff. And I firmed up with Scott Gray, great guy, and we got instantly better because I had someone to help me out with these ideas. But at first, it was about me. Like I was the county bar president. I was like 29 or 30. I got elected to the state bar as a director at like 32. And I was going to just set the world on fire with my legal genius. And then I won't share too much of this, but kind of life happened to me. And I have to take care of somebody who means a lot to me. And they're counting on me all the time. And so it changed my focus into okay, if I can't be the hero for everyone, I've got to create a firm that can do that. And I had to just shift so fast. And partner Scott got me through it. But that's my why. Everyone who knows me knows what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
that's it.
that's powerful. Very good. Well, I think not only is it a great and fun conversation, but I think you gave a lot of value today too, with your perspective. So really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Good time. Good time.
Excellent. All right. Thanks so much. Take
All
care.
right.